Hi, hello, welcome to Spell a Day. We're covering a spell every single day of the year from the 5e PHB +3. Those +3 spells are homebrew spells. We're at +1 at the moment. You can head back in the playlist to find it. Today's spell is Minor Illusion.
You're in the box, aren't you?
No.
So you wouldn't mind if I stab the box?
Don't stab the box.
Because you're in the box.
Yeah. No.
Alright.
Oh my god.
What?
You stabbed my box.
Illusion cantrip, casting time of 1 action, range of 30 feet, components somatic material, a bit of fleece, duration 1 minute. You create a sound or an image of an object within range that lasts for the duration. The illusion also ends if you dismiss it as an action or cast the spell again. If you create a sound, its volume can range from a whisper to a scream. It can be your voice, someone else's voice, a lion's roar, or beating of drums, or any other sound you choose. The sound continues unabated throughout the duration, or you can make discrete sounds at different times before the spell ends. If you create an image of an object, such as a chair, muddy footprints, or a small chest, it must be no larger than a 5-foot cube. The image can't create sound, light, smell, or any other sensory effect. Physical interaction with the image reveals it to be an illusion because things can pass through it. If a creature uses its action to examine the sound or image, the creature can determine that it is an illusion with a successful intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC. If a creature discerns the illusion for what it is, the illusion becomes faint to the creature. Wow, I did not remember this being a minute. I realized what I got it confused with. I got it confused for the brief image you can make with prestidigitation. That only lasts 1 round. So for this to take just an action to cast, and it lasts the full minute without concentration, and you can change it. Well, you can change the sound, you can't change the image one. Then again, this is where Illusionist Wizard would come in, but outside of that, you can only have one of these up at a time. That's not that bad, and you have to do sound or visual. It doesn't do the smell or taste. Taste? Did Major Image cover taste? Anywho, so you can have a visual object, essentially, in a 5-foot cube, which is pretty decent. You can do small races. I've seen people in my games use that before, of like, oh, faking gnomes or goblins in certain areas. Now again, these ones can't move. Again, unless you're an illusionist wizard. That's gonna be a clause for any illusion spell, really. Will that also mean that if the illusionist casts dream on a separate target, which then targets someone else, even though the illusionist themselves is not asleep or in the dream, they can manipulate the dream? Outside of illusionists again, I'm stepping off of that, just covering the spell. Whisper to a scream, to your voice, to someone else's voice. That's pretty good. You could do that around corners, you could have a scream off in a distance. I've seen people use this to mimic the sound of a guard coming towards an alleyway if bandits are there about to be mugged. And vice versa. I've seen it as various bits of like trouble coming, or a beast roaring, or goblins screaming, or attack. Mimic, mock. Also, if you have like a bandana, if your character themselves can't verbally say anything or mimic someone's voice, basically if you don't have that feat or if you aren't a mastermind rogue or kenku, you can have just a mask, a helmet, and mimic the voice this way. Now, it will take an action and only cover you for a minute, but hey, something you can do. Or again, anything that's Scooby-Doo-wise and haunting. Set up some ghostly noises off in the distance. Get out, return the slime. Then the object one. Big thing with the object one is covering something up. Now yes, there was the small race example previously brought up where you can do small creatures, essentially. A cat, a dog, you know, fun things. They can't move though, so it's gonna be a weird still image with minor illusion. But the best part is objects, so like a chest, a chair, or a piece of a wall. Now again, it's only gonna last a minute, so how often is that gonna be useful? But I've seen people use this to fake a broken section of a door. So basically like, they busted down the lock, or busted through the lock, and the hinge inside of the door, not the hinge, they busted through the lock of the door, so there's this massive gap in it. They hid the actual door knocker off in a separate drawer somewhere, and they cast minor illusion to like show as if the door was fixed. So guards walked on by after they heard some kind of break-in. Again, only lasted a minute or until someone investigated it, or tried to just open the door and their hand went through it. But also, it's a 5-foot cube, so that could be a big area. Depending on the size of the door, you could get most of the door. You could also, again, if your character like squeezes down or tries to crouch down, build a crate. Or not build a crate, but like have a minor illusion of a crate that you can fit within, because it's a 5-foot cube. Now, while not the biggest thing, that's still a big area, like generally speaking, volume-wise. And then the last stanza is the usual illusion investigation. But I'm happy to say I really like minor illusion. I don't know why I'm bringing up that, just emotional response, but I forgot features of it and I forgot some of its limitations, or I thought there were more limitations. 6 out of 10. Namely because 30 feet, 1 minute, you can only have one of them up, and the big thing is the visual illusion one. You can't, like, at base, you can't move it. It only fits within a 5-foot cube, and it's a still image. And if it's something that makes a noise, you can't do that. It's just got to be a still thing. It again, comes up to a lot of the creativity of someone using it. But sound-wise, you can get a lot away with a lot. And namely because it's a cantrip, this is a great excuse to allow the creativity of people in the comments like you on what you could see as general uses for minor illusion. Yes, there's the obvious ones of shows, and if you are going the show route, describe it. Why not?